Hi, and welcome back to the Great Mini Rebuild, Part 2. Sorry I haven't put a video out for a little while, but lots of private things going on in our family with new grandchildren and things and trips around, so haven't had a chance to do too much on the Mini. Anyway, we've finished stripping it down, pulled out the subframe, both of them pulled out the rear suspension and all the bits and pieces off the subframe and put them aside ready for cleanup and repainting. Quite a bit of nasty stuff. These are the rear subframe mounting pins, as you can see, not much left of them, so lots of new bits to get. However, they'll all get replaced, and you end up, of course, with lots of rusty bits. There's a lot of cleaning and fixing to do with all these little parts, but that'll give me something to do while the body is away getting clean. The front subframe came back, so it's all nicely powder coated, and she's ready to get reassembled. Um, I've been getting some of the other peripherals, like the brake boosters and things like that, pulling the brackets off and sending them off to be powder coated, getting everything cleaned up, ready for reassembly. Um, the wiring's another disaster, typical British sort of wiring. So I'm going to rewire this car completely. So that'll be fun, but I get a much better job when I do that. The body is now completely stripped, as you can see here. I've agonised over getting it sandblasted or having it dipped like I did with my previous rebuild on the MGB. In the end, I've decided that I'm going to send it down and get it dipped again. It's quite a bit more expensive than getting it sandblasted, but it's a far more thorough job. It gets into all the rust everywhere, no matter how hidden, and you can guarantee it's gone. Whereas sandblasting tends to only get into the areas where you can actually blast it. The hidden areas up underneath and in the seams and things like that don't get treated at all. So I feel the dipping process is much better. Also, the dipping doesn't. The dipping will remove all the goop and the sealant and all the other stuff, which can take a long time to actually remove from the body by either sandblasting or abrasive means. And this car's got so much paint on it that I'd be there forever with either with a sandblast, and they'd probably take half the metal away, or with a grinding wheel and wire brush. You'd be there for absolute ever. There's so much pitch and goop and paint. It's a bit of a mess. Anyway, it's gone. The seats and the roof liner have all been pulled out. The roof line is actually quite good. I think it's been replaced before, but it's still reasonably good. I'm going to have a go at cleaning this up. It's just a bit dirty. The heater's the usual disaster on these cars, so I'm just going to throw this away and get a whole new one. The motor's burnt out, the core's stuffed. I think I'll just buy one of these aftermarket ones. The only thing nice about this is that it's actually one of the originals, so I'll have a look at it. If I can fix up the outer shell of it, I'll replace the core. This is the worst part of the car, the back part. So after I spent quite a bit of time getting it all mounted on my rotisserie, you know, once it's up on the rotisserie, of course, you can see the bottom and all the bits that you need to change. And this is the worst part, I think. It's the hardest part to change and everything else. I'm really lucky I was able to secure the original Mark One Cooper doors. So these are the sliding window doors, and they are in excellent condition. You can see from here the original blue colour is still on the inside, but there's literally no rust on these. The chrome strip around the window is in good order, and they're excellent. They don't really need any rust preventative or rust work or metal work done on the doors at all. Anyway, so with a friend's erstwhile help, we loaded the Mini up onto his little trailer and we took it down to a place in Adelaide called Minus Paint, who have the big paint stripping and rust removal dipping bars. They did the MG and it was an excellent job last time. So I've just dropped the Mini into them again, and in a few weeks' time we should see the shell back. So while the body's away, it's time to clean up the workshop and get on with sort of getting some of the smaller peripheral items finished and done if I can, so I can put them aside and then reinstall them when the body comes back. Anyway, so I started with the steering rack for no good reason other than it was sort of immediately to hand, and immediately discovered a few things. I mean, for a start, this machine, it's a Mark One, it's a 61 Mark One Cooper. At some time in its life, it's had the whole front end changed for essentially Cooper S parts with the 7.5-inch disc brakes. It's got a Cooper S engine. But for some reason, it's got the original Mark One steering rack. I'm pretty sure that's right because this has got 15 teeth, and I believe that the Mark Twos and the later models all had 25 teeth on the rack. So this should have Mark One steering arms, but it's actually fitted with Mark Two steering arms. So you've got Mark One steering rack with Mark Two steering arms, but I don't know. It was all pulled apart when I got it, so I'm going to replace the rack with a proper Mark II one. And mainly because after having renovated this one and turned up a new bush for it, I just can't get the bearings for it. And by the time you buy $40 bearings, if you can get them at all, a brand new rack is actually half, not much more. So it's cheaper to buy a brand new rack. So then I pulled apart the remaining front end parts, cleaned them all up, sandblasted them down, hit them with a wire brush, and then I'm going to paint these myself. So I'm with some grey-green phosphor zinc etching etching primer. It's actually 2-pack phosphate zinc primer. So put that on, and then a couple of coats of satin black. Two-pack to make it look black, and it's a reasonably hard wearing finish, and so that should work. I'm trying to save a little bit of money on this one by painting these things myself where they're not visible, and where the visible things I'll get them all powder coated because I like the powder coating process. It looks nice. Anyway, so all those parts now have new bearings, new bushes, put new stub axles in this because they were in fairly ordinary condition with the thread stripped on one of them. Put all the bearings in, and then I've wrapped them all up in cling wrap after they're all done. So they're all fully sealed, cling wrapped, ready to just drop in place. So when the body comes back and I finished all the panel work, I can just drop all these nice shiny new parts into it. It's quite a good way to do it, and doing these small bits while the body's away, or it gives you a break to go and do something where you feel you've actually achieved something, you've finished it, and it's done. So, with all that done, it's time to give the workshop a bit of a spruce up while there's not much in it. So, treated it to a new rubber top for the bench, cleaned out all the crap. The workbench gets very messy after a while. So, anyway, so that's the end of it for now. I'm expecting to get the body back from the dipping process anytime in the next week. And hopefully the diff for the MGB will come back from the differential place sometime next week, so we'll be able to finish that off as well. Anyway, that's all for now. We'll catch you up probably first thing in the new year. See ya. Bye.